Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for part 3 of your 2023 reading. We're going to take a look at your houses 9 through 12, and in your ninth house of travel, wisdom, higher learning, you have this chop wood card, and I kind of feel that it could say that it's time for you to get to work, Libra, especially on anything that you've been hoping to learn or anything new that you're hoping to work on as well. You have the moon here, and the moon kind of suggests that maybe there are some things that you don't know, or maybe there are some things that are kind of, hidden from you. And, this could be for a lot of you, I feel like it's business, because right here you have this Eight of Pentacles. And so it's like there's something that you want to work on, or there's like something that you want to work towards at the very least. And you even have this card here, which says, don't fear a blank canvas. Use it to turn your life into a masterpiece. I love that. So, there could be a lot of success coming in for you, but at the same time, I feel this moon card is saying that there are things you don't know, but not in a bad way. Again, the ninth house represents like higher learning and education. It also represents like self-education as well. So clearly this card is saying get moving on filling in the gaps, get moving on kind of learning what you don't know and figuring out how to learn about what you don't know. You have the Nine of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the Moon card here. The Nine of Pentacles is a great card of success. It is like pre-Empress energy as well. So you end with the Empress as well, which is even better. So it kind of looks to me like you're having maybe a little bit of a glow up in 2023. This could be through kind of filling in knowledge gaps. It could also be through changes in your environment as well. The ninth house obviously has to do with travel, and it can kind of have to do with moving. And the Nine of Pentacles has a lot to do with your environment, believe it or not. There's a snail right here. Libra, if I remember correctly, you are the reason that I did environment readings in 2022. And back in it might have been like May or June. I don't remember exactly when I did it, but I did readings that were specifically about changes in your environment. And I did them for every sign because of you, because you kept getting these messages about your environment. And I felt like it was super important. It's coming up here again. The snail wears its home on its back, and it represents your environment. You have this Knight of Swords, which I'm just getting as some sort of change in your environment. Again, you don't have to move. This could be you just changing up your environment, moving around your living room, making changes in your kitchen, or wherever you want to make some changes. I feel like a lot of you could be making some changes with this Knight of Swords energy. And again, it's kind of like you're becoming much more clear on what you need to do, or it's like you're becoming much more clear on the changes that you need to make at this time. And again, I feel like this is making you more successful. But again, I do feel like there are some knowledge gaps that need to be filled here. So if there's anything that you find inspiring, if there's anything that you find interesting, if you're trying to find success but you're bumping up against obstacles, I think education is like the trick to overcoming the obstacles. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have this Lost card. It's kind of interesting. A lot of people have had this card in this first row. So there could be some sort of, I don't really feel like it's a loss. I feel it's more a new beginning. Nines to me kind of represent something new entering into your life, and you have the Nine of Pentacles here in your ninth house. So I kind of feel this is just more like death energy, just like a transformation. And obviously it could be a transformation in your environment. Interestingly enough, that card is Saturn in Pisces. We have Saturn going into Pisces this year as well, 2023. You have this friendship card. So some of you could be learning a lot from friends. We're entering into a very co-creative time, as I always say. So anything you can do to co-create with other people would be super beneficial. Anything you could do to work together with other people, or to get on a team or whatever, would be a really good idea with this card, especially involving learning. With the moon, you have this protection card. I feel like you are protected from kind of like secrets, and I feel like you are protected from the unknown. The moon card represents fears, but it represents fears just because, it's dark. Maybe you can't see, this is part of the fool's journey, and he's trying to get to those mountains in the background, but if the fool is there, maybe he doesn't see, or maybe what he's seeing is an illusion. If you're ever out on a full moon, it's like it kind of lights up. Sometimes they're very bright, right? And so you can see things, but maybe you're seeing shadows, maybe you're seeing illusions. And I feel like this is kind of like saying, let go of your fears because you are protected from the illusions, and it's time to get down to brass tacks. I feel like it's time for you to kind of learn the ins and the outs of something that you're wanting to create. For most of you, I feel that it is involving your 10th house. The 10th house is what we're going to look at next. You have this eagle spirit. It says spirit has your back. And the 10th house, of course, has to do with like career, long-term goals, fame, things like that. But I feel for you, this is mostly talking about career. And again, if you're like retired or something like that, or if you're not working, this could just have to do with long-term goals, things that you want to accomplish in the future. And I feel like you're being guided at this time. I also feel like there are things that you can't see coming. The mythology of the eagle is that the eagle can fly very high in the sky. And it can see very, very far, but it can't see all the way around the earth. It can't see around the curve. So even the eagle is sometimes surprised by the things that shows up in its life, as it's like soaring around the curve of the earth. And so, I feel for a lot of you, it's like there are things that are coming that you don't see, but I feel like you have to be prepared for these things. It's like, sometimes I think people think like, oh, I want to start a business, but then they're like, oh, I don't have the money. But you never know. Maybe you get some inheritance that you don't know about that gives you the money. But it's like if you're not prepared for it, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of it. So I really feel that this is talking about being prepared for, pretty much anything, and kind of acting as if you already have the thing that you want, because I feel like the universe is bringing you just what you need. You have the Eight of Pentacles, the King of Swords, and the Three of Cups here. I also feel that there is help coming from other people. That's kind of the feeling I get here. I'm not suggesting that it is an inheritance. It could be an inheritance, but I'm kind of getting, it could be anything, that is coming in for you. And I feel like this is part of what you don't see coming, is that this year in 2023 is that there's probably a lot more help or assistance coming in for you from people. The other interesting thing is normally I say, like, I'm a big fan of telling people to ask for help because not enough people ask for help. And people always tell me, like, I want to do things on my own. I want to do things by myself and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Most successful people do not do things on their own. So you're not being brave or anything like that by doing things on your own. Plus, technically, you're like taking something from other people. If there are people who can help you be successful, they also get to be successful when you become successful because they helped you, right? So I always tell people, allow people to help you, because then you're just spreading the abundance. You're creating more abundance for more people when you let someone give you a leg up or kind of help you on your journey, right? And, again, I don't know where this, like, thinking, like, doing things on your own and, being angry at the world and being like, everybody just hurts me, nobody helps me, and all these things. It's like, there are plenty of great people that you can find that will help you. You just have to find the right ones. But what I would say here, rant over, is that, I feel like there are a lot of people who'd help you, but I don't think you have to ask for it, is where I'm going with for this, is like, I kind of feel like they're just like, things are just kind of appearing on your path. But the thing is I kind of feel like you have to be on the path to have these things appear. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like a Rumi quote where he says, I don't know the quote exactly, but he basically says, when you get going on your path, the path appears, or something like that. I don't know. Someone will know what I'm talking about. They'll put it down below. I'm basically having a fever dream. I've been like sick for like 2 weeks, and I don't know. I feel hot and sweaty right now, Libra. It is what it is, right? But anyway, what I would say here is, again, I feel like it's like once you're on the path, that's when everything will start appearing for you. That's where everything will kind of start making, all the kind of like guides in your life will start to appear. I kind of feel like this is you. I'm getting this sense of preparation. He has, to me, the King of Swords has the most knowledge and wisdom out of all the kings. He's been through the most wars. And so I feel like you just need to start kind of putting the work in. I do feel like this ground up energy on the Eight of Pentacles. I'm pretty sure I said this to you recently. He's working from the ground up, basically, on the Eight of Pentacles. And so I feel for a lot of you, I'm not suggesting that you're like starting completely over in your career or your business or on a long-term goal, if this happens to be like a long-term goal for you. But I do kind of get that, you're kind of, maybe you're just more focused with the King of Swords energy, and so you're kind of like not working on the things that you don't need to work on anymore. I don't know, it's kind of an interesting feeling. Let's see if we can clarify that. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the impulsiveness. I feel like this is what you are not doing. I feel like you are, again, I was getting something weird on this Eight of Pentacles where it was kind of saying to me that you're focusing only on what's important, and I feel like that's very important. It's like there are a lot of things you could work on, but it's like whether or not it moves your life forward is another story, right? And so I feel here that you are working on things that actually kind of get things moving forward in your life. With the King of Swords, you have this achievements card. Definitely a lot of achievements. Really successful year for you, Libra, especially if you are kind of like creating success, if you're starting a business, any of those things. I kind of feel like you're working on building a masterpiece like we see in your next row. Obviously, this isn't going to just magically happen. You're going to have to put the work in, but if you do, I feel like you'll be very successful. With the Three of Cups, you have this bluff card here. I kind of do feel like you're showing off. It is a show-off year, and I mean this in like the best way possible. I wouldn't, don't go out there to show off. Of course not. I'm just saying, just by you kind of accomplishing things that you want to accomplish, maybe you've told people that you're going to do something great, and maybe they don't believe you. And it's like now I feel like you're kind of calling people's bluff in that sense, if that makes sense. And again, like I said, you're not doing this in a low vibe kind of show off way, but you're probably just by accomplishing the things that you said you were going to accomplish, you're becoming successful. I kind of feel like the Three of Cups would be good for accountability as well. If you're trying to make a change this year or whatever, maybe having some people in your life who hold you accountable would be a really good idea. Next, in your 11th house, you have this charity card. 11th house does have to do with charity, kind of. It has to do with like groups and social groups and things like that. It says, donate to create positive energy around you. Humanitarian, social work, legal aid, human rights, advocacy, all those things are on here. It says, the more you give of yourself, the more you'll nourish the soul. You also have this card that says, don't fear a blank canvas. This is the most important card in this entire reading, I'm telling you right now. It says, use it to turn your life into a masterpiece. So I feel like your life is turning into a masterpiece here, Libra. I would be careful of overgiving this year just based off the astrology. Plus, Saturn and Pisces, right? We have Saturn going into Pisces. And I'm not saying we shouldn't give, but number one, I have a couple of rules. Number one, I feel like most of us spiritual people, we give way too much in the friggin' first place, right? I like have the flu or something like that, and I'm still doing readings, right? So I should probably listen to my own words, but I'm actually feeling better today, finally. But still, I'm losing my mind, and because I've been taking cough medicine. But what I would say here is spiritual people, we give way too much, right? So, I would be careful of that in the first place. I would also make sure that, again, you don't have to be giving money. You could be doing something like sharing information with a person, just helping a person in your life. It doesn't have to involve money is what I'm trying to say. It could be, just anything. But I do feel, again, as long as you're giving to things that give back to you, then I feel like you'll be fine. I always say, people always ask me, why do you do readings when you're sick? Which I never really get sick, except I had this year, COVID, and now I have like whatever I have right now. But what I would say is I channel from source. Like when I do this, I always feel better after I do readings because it fills me with energy, right? So as long as you're giving to something that kind of fills you with energy, I feel like it's perfectly fine for you to be giving to whatever you're giving to. But if you are feeling exhausted, if you're feeling tired, then I would find something else to give to. What I would say here also is, again, like I said, clearly you're turning your life into a masterpiece. The 11th house, I don't know if I said this, but it's a house of community, groups, the future, luck, things like that. You have the King of Wands, the Nine of Cups, and the Magician showing up here. I do feel I kind of feel like you're a little bit of a magnet this year in general. You could be attracting people into your life. And I don't mean just in love. I mean, pretty much in all areas of your life. I feel you have a lot of these cards of leadership. And it's really interesting because pretty much every single sign that I've read for has had these cards of leadership showing up in the readings. I'm wondering, we have Pluto going into Aquarius, a little bit more spiritual energy this year, maybe kind of. I'm reaching a little bit, but still, it's like I feel maybe the spiritual energy is like people, maybe the universe is like kind of trying to make spiritual people leaders, if that makes sense. So, don't be afraid to take the lead is what I'm trying to say here in any group or anything like that. I also feel like you are very focused on kind of like reinventing yourself in the future. He has this snake right here eating its own tail. And that's the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros represents reinvention or kind of like reinventing yourself. And I feel a lot of you could be reinventing yourself or turning yourself into something that you want to be. You have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is a card of wishes and wish fulfillment. So I do feel a lot of you could be kind of receiving some wishes. Again, the ninth house is a house of luck. Like I said, I would definitely do anything you possibly can to put yourself in situations to be lucky. You're not going to get lucky sitting at home, and definitely not right now. There's too much energy in the astrology, as far as I'm concerned, that says there's like a lot of luck. The thing is, I think people feel less lucky, but I think it's because maybe I don't think we have to work harder for the luck. I just think we have to do things we've never done before, mostly because of the Aquarius energy that we're kind of moving into now. And so what I would say here is like put yourself in positions to get lucky, whatever that means in any area of your life. If you want love, go out, right? I keep telling people it's like, especially if you want love, because you end with the lovers over here, by the way, which is great. But it's like you have to think beyond like, love. Yeah, like I think that if you want love, you have to think like where you even meet this person, right? It's like everybody's all about like Tinder and stuff like that nowadays. But it's like think about the type of people you meet on Tinder. It's like, is that like the best you can do? Is that the best version? Some people do it. I'm not saying, plenty of people I'm sure have met their perfect person on Tinder, but for the most part, it's like when you think about it, it's like it's an easy, lazy way to find a person, but not necessarily of high quality, right? So I would be looking here. The reason I'm ranting about this right now with the Nine of Cups is in all areas of your life, I would be thinking, like, how can I find the highest quality version of the thing that I'm looking for? It doesn't even have to be love. I'm just using that as an example. And maybe it requires a little bit more work is what I'm getting at here, but I feel like you're going to be creating more quality. I hope that makes sense. You have the King of Wands here. I really feel this is more talking about your leadership energy. Again, I feel like you're very bold, confident, courageous this year. Those are the energies that I would be embracing as well, especially if you're like leading any groups, if you're stepping up into leadership roles, things like that. With the King of Wands, you have the Secrets card here. What I would say here is that I don't really feel this has to do with secrets. I feel that this more has to do with learning. The 11th house, again, is like the house of community, and it's also the house of the future and luck. And again, I feel like there are some things you don't know about the future. It's just that simple. You have that blank canvas card, the eagle, we were talking about the curve of the earth. And I feel you need to like allow the universe to surprise you. With the Nine of Cups, you have this Harmony card. This is your card, Libra. This is the sun in Libra. So I feel like there's like a lot of peace and a lot of harmony and a lot of good things coming in for you. The Nine of Cups is about bathing and soaking in an energy of something that you want, right? It's like the energy of the Nine of Cups. I always say it's like if you want something, you have to be in that energy before you can have it. So if you want love, for example, you have to go love a dog, go love a cat, go love something, be in the energy. And I feel like the more you can soak in energy, the better. With the Magician, you have this Defense card here. I feel like for some of you, this is about protecting your energy, number one. So maybe you need to take some, I feel that socializing, there could be a lot of benefits in spending time with people. There could be a lot of benefits in teaming up with people in business and other areas of your life. But I would also make sure to take some time for yourself, right? The other side of the scale, basically, is what that's saying to me. Finally, in your 12th house, you have this Message card and this Main Mail card. The 12th house has to do with endings, closure, things that are hidden, releasing things, letting go of things as well. I actually feel this could be something new, which is interesting. You're like the third sign, maybe the fourth sign, that has had something new showing up in the 12th house. The 12th house kind of has to do with new beginnings. It's really the first house, but what I would say is, obviously, if there's an ending, usually in death, there is life, as they say. So, I kind of feel this could be something new that is being revealed to you. It's like a little mysterious, so maybe that's why it's showing up in the 12th house. Like if you're meeting a new person, maybe there's some mystery as to how you're going to get to this person, right? So maybe there's like distance or something like that. Again, you have a lot of these secretive cards here as well. I also feel like some of you could literally be meeting a person where it's like, I don't think they are trying to keep you secret. I think you could be meeting a person who's like famous or something like that. And that's obviously not going to be for all of you, but for some of you, you could be meeting someone who's maybe they're like an influencer or something like that. And it's like maybe they don't want to, maybe they don't want the world to know for whatever reason. I feel that for somebody out there. For others, I feel that there could be mysterious messages coming in for you. Could be like a little bit of a secret admirer type situation. It could be any gender as well. You have the Lovers, the Three of Swords, and the Empress. I do feel some of you could be healing from a person here. I'm telling you right now, if a person's coming back from the past, I feel like you're over it. I feel like this is you right here, Empress. You start with the Nine of Pentacles, pre-Empress energy. Your last card is literally the Empress. It's like you've gone through this whole entire journey in this reading to become the Empress. So I don't think you're going to go back to a heartbreak here, Libra. I definitely don't. I think you're definitely picking new love for most of you. You have the Lovers here. I feel like you're focused on something new. I do feel for some of you, maybe you don't understand why something had to come to an end, but I feel like you're kind of getting to this point, where you're very focused on yourself. And I mean that in a good way, not in a bad way. Like, again, you have the Empress here. You're focusing on your glow up. You're focusing on what you can control. I feel like you're focusing on turning her life would be a masterpiece, like this last card says, or the card in your 11th house. So I feel like you're kind of creating this masterpiece energy in your life. So if there was an ending, I feel like you're making this type of change here in your life. For others, for all of you, really, I feel like there's just a major new beginning coming in for you that you are it's almost like you're creating it this year. Again, it could be a blank canvas, just like that blank canvas says. I do get that feeling. But it's not like you're starting over. I want to stress, I feel like you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a place of wisdom. As I always say, you have the King of Swords, literally the card of wisdom. So even if you feel like you're starting over in your life, I don't really feel like you are. With the Lovers, you have this egotism card. Definitely could have been dealing with a fire sign who had a big ego. But again, maybe this is what has caused the change. Maybe you should almost be grateful for this person because maybe they have caused this significant glow up energy in you, right? With the Three of Swords, you have this status card. I feel like this is what you're heading towards. It's very crazy that pretty much everyone has had this. I'm not so sure. Again, I want to stress. It's kind of weird. I feel this energy where I actually feel like maybe less people will be in relationships in the future. That doesn't, I feel like if you want one, you can have one, right? Plain and simple. I want to stress that. It's not like, there's something blocking people from being in relationships. I just think the people who will be in relationships want to be in relationships. It's like there's going to be none of this like cheating or any of that other stuff because, the people that would cheat, I think, just won't be in relationships kind of like in the future. The energy seems to be changing. Obviously, is that 100% true? No, of course not. But, what I would say is a lot of people have been getting these power couple type energies like this card. And I'm wondering if people are just better at picking, if the energy is changing in general, that's causing us to pick better people. I have no clue, but it is interesting to me that basically everyone has been getting this. And by the way, that's Jupiter and Taurus. We have Jupiter going into Taurus this year, towards the middle of the year. And so, definitely. With the Empress, you have this criticism card. Yeah, don't call attention to your weaknesses, is what this is saying to me. I feel like you need to focus on kind of like how strong you have become. But let's see here what is going on for you, Libra. We're going to pull 5 main themes now, see if there's anything else I missed. You have the Sunrise card. It says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. The whole entire reading is about a fresh start coming in for you, so that makes sense to me. You have this Hammock card. It says take a vacation, physically or mentally. I don't know, like 30 people have had this card. So, definitely could be one of those years where maybe everybody just needs a break, needs a vacation. You have this Rainbow card. It says the most difficult part of a situation is over. Love it. Definitely kind of gives me like fortune after difficulty vibes, or just general improvement vibes. You have the Shark card. It says take care or there will be loss of material wealth. I've been saying to pretty much everyone, just keep an eye on your finances. I don't think we have to be paranoid about it. I think we should just keep an eye on it. Our finances, just don't buy things you don't need and you'll be fine. You have this Nest card. It says an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. So again, if you're like building a family, obviously that's important. Some of you could also be joining groups here, like I said, in your 11th house. And I feel that will be beneficial as well. But this looks pretty good. So thank you for being here, Libra. I really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.